I just wanted to speak to, it's still October 7th. I just finished the, I guess it's called Daily Morning Peer-Led Sit. And it's through the Dharma Collective in San Francisco. And I guess it lasts a whole hour, but I could only stay for 30 minutes. And it was a little awkward because, I mean, I've never been to one before. And then, so I was the first one to log on. And then I just figured, okay, well, I guess I'll just close my eyes, right? There's no one either. No, I turned off the camera and then someone else was already on when I was busy doing something else. And then I went back around 8:30 or 7:30. And then I saw someone else was there. And then his eyes was closed, so I was like, okay, I'll just close my eyes. And I was going to say good morning, but his eyes were closed. So I was just like, oh, I don't want to disrupt him, right? And so then I closed my eyes. And so there was just a little awkwardness in the sense of like, there was no like introduction. There was no, but it's a peer-led sit. So I guess, like you just read each other's cues and you're there together. So I was just like, oh, I'm going to close my eyes, right? And surprisingly, I tapped in. Like, one, I did with the light on. And I'm sitting. I'm not on the ground. I prefer to be on the ground, but it was kind of hard to kind of find like a place where I'm there. I guess I could have, but I didn't. So yeah. So I closed my eyes and I'm just focused on I don't even have my meditation music on. So this was definitely like a different challenge. I think I tried it once before without meditation music. I just like how it sounds with meditation music. But I mean, I'm happy to know that I can do this without meditation music. I don't really need anything, right? I can just sit and do it. And so I tapped in. It started off at the top where it was very like there was this like this motion of just like from the middle to the top, right? And like this togetherness almost of and with the crown at the top. So it was just like this togetherness of like pushing up, like just pulsing, but the focus was the top. And then it shifted to the bottom where you could tell that the focus was from this part, I guess the heart, right? If it's the air and ocean, the heart part was pulsing up. So now it went from up here to down here. And then there was, and the colors were brighter. So I think the lighting, just because of the reflection through your eyelids, if you will, it was definitely brighter than in the dark, but the colors shifted. The intensity of the color of the violet and the purple shifted. And at one point there was even like the blue again, but that was really quick. And then it was more of the purple, and there was like this, and it wasn't the whole space. It was like pockets of like purple. Yeah, so it wasn't the whole space. And then there was a moment where it was where they were both going like this. Not very distinct, like the feeling that I got was more united. That was the feeling. It wasn't so much this separateness of it. There was a separateness, but there was this united feeling at the same time. So it's like individually but united, like a collective, really. The interesting thing is that it then shifted, and I don't know if I've shared it before, when like a cycle is or this moving forward motion like this, right? And in the past, it's been like this connected, like going like this. And for me, that was like, I'm moving forward, right? This time was a little different. This time, it was, so you know how like sometimes I say it's like this, where it's like two separate entities going like this? So imagine the same thing, but just going this way. So the mind and the heart, so there was this separateness in that process. So it wasn't like this line like moving together. It was literally like both like two separate ones, but moving forward at the same time. Like it was just it was really neat to see. And so there was a clear distinction in like, there was like a little and it wasn't very apparent, but it was enough for me to know it's the mind and the heart moving together forward, but at the same time individually, like not like how it's usually like this, where it's like just one whole line moving forward. No, it was like a separate thing, kind of, but they were moving in unison. So there was this sense of unison, of moving forward, separate but together at the same time. So I thought that was neat. And I guess it speaks to, you know, what MJ talked about. And then maybe it's because I'm doing this whole collective with other people, right? And so I thought that was neat. That was different. I hadn't seen that like that. The separation this way, but still moving together. So that was different and neat to experience. So if I'm entertaining the idea, right? So if I'm entertaining the idea that, and I mentioned it before, like the waves, right? If I'm entertaining the idea that that's what that is, the story of us, in a weird 5D, 3D connection type of way, right? And then this is us, individually, right? And it makes sense now I think about it. Like I was all heart space, right? And he was very, very much mind, process, planning, you know, oriented. If that's what that is, right? If that's what that is. Then he gets it. Or he's getting it. Right? Right? Think? I don't know. I'm just entertaining ideas. So, but that was neat. It was nice to see. It was nice to see. And it felt good. It felt good. In that respect, in terms of this unison, right? This movement of moving forward together but separate. You know? Yeah. It's funny, I was thinking about still reflecting on MJ's morning message. And she said something about how one of us listens to too much advice, right? One of us listens a little too much. People telling me what to do, basically, right? And the other one doesn't listen at all. He's stubborn. And you know, if I'm being honest, if I'm entertaining that idea, right? If I'm still entertaining that idea, there was an element when he was sharing his stories with me where there were moments where it almost felt like it was flipped, like the stories were flipped. That you know, that's the feeling that I got when I remember when he would share stories. And you know, I'm all about connections, right? And so I remember thinking like, I remember thinking at different times too, like having moments where I entertained the idea slightly, but then like bringing myself back. I'm like, no, it can't be. Like, it's an illusion, right? But if I'm entertaining the idea that it might be, there were parts of our stories where it was just like opposite, like moving together but at opposite times, right? Like he embraced his creativity at a much younger age than I did. At a much younger age than I did. I am embracing it now, whereas he initially embraced it before, right? And in the very beginning, right? I remember he said he would get in trouble a lot, and I did it. He got in trouble a lot, I did it, right? And then, I could be wrong, but there was a point where I was embracing my creativity, but then I stopped. I stopped embracing it, right? For whatever reason. Oh, I guess everyone tapped out after, maybe? Sorry, I just got distracted. So at a certain point, I stopped embracing it. And I was like Miss Goody Tissue in school. Like, I listened to everybody, right? Like, I was listening to my teachers. I did what I was told, right? To a certain degree, because my mom would frustrate me for not following through, because I would get tuturu in my head, right? And I remember he said the same thing. That I guess I remember I shared something that my mom said. I forgot what she said. What did she say? I forgot what she said. No, he told me first. He told me first. I remember he told me first. What did he tell me? He said that his dad used to say despierta, and he'd say his name, and was it despierta or something like that, like pay attention, like come back to earth or something like that. What did he say? I forgot what he said. I remember. Gosh, he has some great stories. He really does. He's a great storyteller. He really is. And I just remember. I remember him saying that. I just remember I enjoyed listening to him talk. And have his crazy ideas and there was so in my journey, right, as I'm remembering parts of myself that I lost, and learning certain things about my mom's telling me certain things. She's like, te pierdes, or something like that, she says, because I get lost in my head. And I remember, like, I was like, what did she say? Oh no, that's what it was. I was flipping tortillas. We were making tortillas, and then I got lost in my head, and I burned the tortilla. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Mom. Like, I totally meant not to. She's just like, todavía con eso? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you used to get lost in your head all the time. And I remember laughing. I was like, what? But I remember also remembering, I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's similar to what his story he shared, that his dad would tell him. His dad would say something like, something similar. I think it was just something similar. I just remember laughing about that. And so anyways, so he fully embraced that creative side of him, right? His heart space completely in that moment of creativity. And I was not embracing it, right? And then there were similar things, and there was just some similarities. It was at a different, just looked a little different. I am reflecting. I mean, he went all in that process. And I held myself back. I held myself back completely. And that was the beginning of me being completely closed off. From just giving myself permission to really tap into that world. For whatever reason. Oh, it was the fear of security. I remember thinking, what am I going to do with that? Because I didn't feel I was good enough. And so my headspace kind of came in, and that's what I was focused on the most is logic, what's going to come next, and I was very just rigid in that process. I had my plan, I had my steps, I had everything planned out, right? And I wasn't deviating from that plan. It didn't matter what was coming in my path, right? And chaos is going all around me. At that time, chaos was going on all around me. And I was because again, this whole, right, you go from one extreme to another. When there's chaos, then you're just trying to control everything, right? And that I was very controlling. And I remember I would tell my parents what to do. I would tell my sister, I was the one telling people what to do. That I knew best. And when people tried to give me advice, I would turn away. I'd be like, no, I know what I'm doing. I remember that time period in my life. Yeah. And then that continued. And I remember there was a moment. I remember when I invited him to Spain with me. And I already knew what his answer was. I knew what his answer was going to be. His family came first, right? That's where he was at. And I remember not being completely upset about it because I expected that. And it just took me. I remember it just took me. I'm like, I was there. I know what that feeling is like. I was there, and I'm seeing him, and I saw myself, just, not too far behind him, just flipped, and so I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed and sad, but not surprised. I remember that moment. He had good stories. He has good stories. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has more. That was nice. It was nice to think about that. To think about him in that way, To think about him in that way. And just thinking about all the memories that we had. It was fun. The few memories we had together. It was fun. I had fun. He's sweet. Very sweet. There's this thing he would do when we'd be walking down the street together, and then he'd always just kind of nudge me. He'd nudge me over so that I wouldn't walk on the edge, so that nothing would happen to me. He would just nudge me over, depending on what side of the street we were walking on. Just slightly nudge me over, and I'd allow it because I knew what he was doing. And I thought it was sweet, very gentlemanlike. And I really liked how he just talked to people. There's this sweetness to him of how he spoke to people and how he treated others. And then the little stories that he would come across, I remember he shared it with me. And he's just like, isn't that sweet? Like, isn't that really nice? Like, his heart was there, and I saw it. His love for people. And I'd see his frustration too. You know, when things were just hard and just didn't turn out a certain way. And worry just comes out of love, you know? That was a good chapter. That was a good chapter. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. For that chapter. I'm grateful for it. For sure. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.